we talking about it right now. I want to get the screen set up, and I want to share my screen. We're gonna go into the Kevin Porter Jr. situation. It's kind of been the talk about the Towns lately, and essentially, we got my guy going through some things in the NBA. All right, Kevin Porter Jr., first round pick, number 30. I had him as my greatest risk reward player of that draft. A player that has so much talent. We know that is always said and always spoke about. A guy that, to me, that was a low key James Harden with a little bit more athleticism. That was my opinion of Kevin Porter Jr. and coming in the draft, and I thought they got the steal of the draft. Going in, they knew about his background. I'm going to take this off because it's not even working. Actually, it's helping my ears. Going in, they knew the issues with Kevin, the background. I'm not a full street guy. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's okay. It's off and on. And we understand that he comes from a single parent household, atypical of, those type of areas. One mother, father was in jail, died early, I believe, when he was 4 years old, and that's his background. And no offense, we see some of the issues that come about, in these single parent households from a statistical perspective. It is what it is. That said, Kevin Porter Jr. got the opportunity of a lifetime to be an NBA player, and that's a huge accomplishment for Kevin. He also has some mentors on his team from a basketball perspective. The guy I know about is Jamal Crawford, right? I was a big Jamal Crawford fan, and that's how I came into the slang of Kevin Porter Jr. Everyone has seen him on. Go look at some of his mixtapes from a street ball perspective. He's super talent, man. Everything was perfect. Yeah, he had the step back. He's part of the step back all-star team if there was one, and had tremendous opportunity to be a player in the NBA. However, with the risk reward, with his background, with the issues that he's had throughout his career, we're talking about going back into USC. The kid has some problems. We knew that if his head wasn't screwed on straight, there would be some issues, and we can understand why. However, it's not an excuse because we have several players with the same type of background. Matter of fact, you could probably say 20% of the NBA has your background, right? You're not the only guy with street credibility or coming from a street background. It is what it is. It's sad to say, but that's how it is. We get into the stats for the kid, man. I mean, let's just go into it and kind of look at how many points he's averaged. Career average of 10 points per game in 19, right? Recent draft pick. The things that stuck out to me and had me fearful of him, again, same draft as these guys, right? Michael Porter Jr., Darius, DeAndre, Colin Sexton. The thing that scared me about him was the fact that he wasn't shooting a high clip from three. In his three-point league at 6'4", but he's long, painful for you to shoot 33% from three. So that's the first strike on Kevin Porter Jr. Because as everybody knows, when you're a top athlete, they kind of let things go, let things slide when you have issues. So now we're going to jump into the issues. A street guy, he knows about, probably has a couple kingpins near him. I'm being straight up, man. I don't want to lie, man. He has some kingpins he knows and blah, blah, blah. Let the kingpin get caught with 2 kilos in a weapon, and somehow some organization, I don't know, maybe NAACP, is able to get the charges dismissed, or the lawyer is able to get those charges dismissed. Usually, that person would say, and this is a bad example, would say, I need to be more low-key. I need to step back and do things the right way, because the microscope is now on you when you make those mistakes, okay? And Kevin Porter did make those mistakes. Got caught up in an accident, driving, got caught with a little bakey, the ooey wooey, some waiting and with the pistola, okay? Had the gun on him. And for an NBA player, you could have a lot of reasons behind that. You could say the weed was for pain and the gun was for protection because everybody's after you for money. And no one would bat an eye. And perhaps that's what they did. And, looking at his background, an NBA player, and his team, right? They said, let's let him slide. And he did. He got that. He got that chance. He got time off, man. He got let loose off of 2 keys. And I'm making it up, right? I'm just giving you that type of. It's that type of relevancy when you're getting that much money per year as an NBA player. It's like 2 keys in a gun charge, right? They let it go. Got dismissed. Cleveland Cavaliers. Not only that, he's surrounded by black coaches. We're talking about Bernie Bickerstaff, Kobe Altman. These are all guys that are there who happen to have the same face as him from a support system. So now it's like, okay, you're an emotional roller coaster, my man, my guy. What's wrong? There's something else going on in there. And again, the background necessitates some of those things. But when you get comments like this from Kobe Altman, not sure if it's true or false, telling GM Kobe Altman the NBA is modern day slavery. I think everybody knows we're all slaves. Mr. Porter, my guy, I go to work every day. My boss goes to work every day. His boss goes to work every day. And technically, even Bill Gates goes to work every day. All right? No matter who you are, what level. See, there's a slave worker and there's another type of slave. There's a slave owner. You know why he's a slave? Because he's trying to figure out the next idea for you to buy or for you to cling on to. So you can't stop that cycle. We're all slaves at the end of the day. I feel like we should get over that. However, back to the basketball talk, I don't want to get into the conundrums. All this is putting him in a situation where he's about to get waived, okay? And the reason why he's probably frustrated, let's just get real. It's probably not because of the charges. I mean, that's probably addition to. He came off of an injury, trying to recover. And then, he gets this incident that holds him back. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing well. The Cleveland Cavs are playing well without you. That hurts a little bit as an NBA player. You're happy for your teammates, but it hurts. It hurts a little bit. Let's be straight up. Let's get into it a little bit deeper. When you look at the roster, a Taurean Prince, who was just added on a trade from the Nets. A Cedi Osman that's going to come into the lineup. I think they play the same positions. A Larry Nance Jr. Lance can make him dance now. He got handled. We talk about Isaac Okoro at the guard position and forward position. That's a problem. Damian Dotson on top of that. That's a problem. That's too many guys in your spot. That's no minutes for Mr. Kevin Porter Jr. Let's be straight up and honest. And that's probably what led to the full-out outburst. Taurean Prince came in and already took my locker, which is a shame, but Taurean Prince is a much more proven player. Mr. Porter had the opportunity to play last year. He put up 10, right? Could have been more? Yes, but I did think there would be a 3-star lineup of Garland, Sexton, and Porter. That is now changing. That, in matter of fact, it probably has changed. When the microscope is on you with this much talent in the NBA, you better be careful. You better be careful what you do, what you say. NBA is starting to become like the NFL with running backs, where you can just pop them in and replace them every year. And that's what's happening unless you're LeBron James, Kevin Durant type of talent. Now let's go into what I wanted to get into for Kevin as we continue to try to mentor one of my. I think I'm saying I haven't seen. He's played 1 year and he's one of my favorite players. All right, that's why I'm going this deep. Look at problematic players in their careers and guys who had talent. Len Bias was one. Cocaine addiction. Derek Coleman, another guy. Chris Washburn, right? Poor attitude issues. Javaris Critton had the Yaki, shot somebody, right? I'm going to skip over Jay Williams. That's a good man, right? Let's keep going up. And hopefully nothing playing in the background. Eddie Curry's another guy, right? Eddie Curry's another guy. We talk about Isaiah Ryder, who's another big scorer like Mr. Kevin Porter Jr. Again, I mentioned James Harden because of his ability to create. He reminds me of guys from my type of years. You can tell era, those type of guys, McGrady, Kobe, guys that can create one-on-one. Isaiah Ryder is one of those guys as well. Eddie Griffin, alcohol problem. Vin Baker, alcohol problem. Terrence Williams, attitude problem. These are high-level talents, almost as talented as he was. Keon Clark, if not better. Keon Clark is another guy. Bonzi Wells. The other thing with these guys, they were able to prove themselves and solidify themselves more than a year. Because this is off just 1 year. It's not like you've been in the league 5 years. Let's keep going. Oliver Miller's another guy. Terrell Sprewell, that's evident. Right? Steph Marbury over in China. I hope he's not in that situation, even though that may help him financially. Ricky Davis, right? Ricky Davis. I don't want to throw him in there, but J.R. Smith reminds me, there's another guy. Gil Arenas, Stevie Franchise, right? Jason Williams, White Chocolate, Antoine Walker. The list goes on and on. Sean Kemp, Cocaine, right? Allen Iverson, just a little bit of an attitude issue. But they were productive already before this happened. And that's my question to Kevin Porter Jr. You could not do what you're doing right now because you're on thin ice. You got to let go of the charges, and now you're on probation for everything. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about if you go into the stall to piss and you're going to take a pee-pee and the piss goes a little bit on the floor, they're getting on you for that because you're getting paid millions of dollars. And that's what it is, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to be in the NBA. So we know the background. We know the kid. I went over my spiel. It wasn't really basketball. It was just a heart-to-heart, even though he's probably like, this YouTube guy, shut up. You ain't getting no money. I get it. But he's one of my favorite players, and I think he can recover, and I think the NBA should give him another chance here to prove himself. And when we talked about the roster, now we're going to talk about the teams. What teams could possibly use Kevin Porter right now? And I want to just go over one. Where Brooklyn at? Where Kevin Porter Jr. on the Brooklyn Nets with Spencer Dinwiddie gone, ghosted, probably with the most talented NBA coach right now, probably favorite, Steve Nash, top 10 point guard in the NBA historically, in my opinion, coaching this kid. And then you have two mentors who know how to play. I know all the James Harden talk and the strip clubs and all that stuff. The guy's scoring 50, 45. Don't tell me this guy is just out of shape. The guy works out constantly. Rico Hines, we see him in every single one of the camps. Let's just stay quiet for a minute. That's work ethic. Kevin Porter Jr. could learn from James Harden. You also got, and also he's well spoken. I respect it. Then you got Kevin Durant's another dude, right? Another guy's a workaholic. Imagine mentoring under those guys, even though you're not going to get completed a lot of minutes. And you lose LeVert, a big talent, and to be able to just squeeze this kid in there, possibly if he gets waived and nobody wants him. Exciting opportunity. I wouldn't do any trades for him. However, if he's waived, destination number one is obviously the Brooklyn Nets. Who else could use this kid's talent, right? Because, as I mentioned, a definitely already a scorer in this league, a la his counterpart or his mentor, Jamal Crawford. I don't want to say Minnesota Timberwolves, but Minnesota Timberwolves, even though they're loaded, with the losses of a lot of players on the end of Denver Nuggets. It's another team with the risk reward. Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson's boo-boo. Bye-bye. Why not? The problem is his three-point percentage. He's a driver. All right? He's a driver. Orlando Magic are always there looking for talent, right? Because they got a lot of people old in the tooth. Again, he's going to be playing backup, right, guys? So I'm not saying he's going to come in as a starter. Even the Houston Rockets. You lost Harden. You got a duplicate with, a lower release point than James Harden. A lefty. Houston Rockets are an interesting proposition for this kid. He has a lot of opportunity. Will he take it and grab it? Or does he want to end up in the 25 NBA? I don't even think he would make this list because he doesn't have enough time. These guys had time and messed up. So we go over all this on the analysis of his points and the direction of his career. And the reason why I did this video this long, because I really like the kid, man. I like his talent. I love players with that type of talent that can create for themselves. And I just don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that in the NBA. And we may lose that, all right, if he doesn't get picked up here. So Kevin Porter Jr., shout outs to you. You're part of the Step Back All-Star team. That doesn't mean much. You can see my subscriber count. But you got fans out there, man. Time to step up and man up, man. It's enough of the games, enough of the crying. You're a man, all right? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. We all go through struggles. You just got let off. I'm giving you a metaphor. 2 keys with a pistola. They dismissed it. Weed gun charge dismissed. And you go in and cause any type of incident, turn into Mother Teresa. Realize your talent. Realize some of the salaries that you're seeing after 3 years when these guys show and prove themselves. Improve your three-point shot. Become a better team player. Become a better facilitator. Kevin Porter Jr., shout outs to him. I know he's going to make it. This is the video here from your boy Step Back going over the situation where he could go and just talking my heart out. Hopefully Kevin gets his mind right. I'm out of here. Peace.